Recorded at WMEB Studios at the University of Maine, it's time for All Three Phases.
This is just a really continuation for us of the OTAs from last week. Just trying to keep pushing along, work on situations, try to give a lot of people reps, give a lot of people opportunity to learn what to do, so when we get to training camp, we'll be able to evaluate them. And we keep grinding it out.
Welcome into episode 11 of All Three Phases here on a Wednesday morning, June 17th, 2015. Fresh in the middle of Patriots OTAs and getting ready for the rest of training camp. I am Brandon Poli at bpoli19. Joining me is Cody LaChance at Hail to the Hoodie. Your local Twitter pundits for the Patriots who get a little trolly sometimes. Not just Patriots takes either. I've been tweeting about other sports as of late, which we'll get into later. But of course, we'll jump right into Patriots mini camp right now, as you heard Belichick in our intro saying just going to keep on grinding. I haven't really heard much out of mini camp in the last week. I mean, last week, we had things to talk about with, like Malcolm Butler not showing up. Due to various reasons. I've seen him. I think I've seen him back out there now from what I've heard. Later we'll also talk about the ring ceremony that happened at Robert Kraft's house. If you follow Chandler Jones on Snapchat or other players on Snapchat, you got to see into that, how fun that looked. And some other topics later, but I'll hand it over to Cody because you have a little section of things you want to talk about minicamp, and I'll chime in where necessary, since I've only been getting what ESPN feeds me for updates, which is, not the best.
Yeah, no, minicamp obviously started up yesterday. We won't have too many breakthroughs. It's kind of a lull period now that the rings have been given out. It's the week before the Brady appeal. This week they're going to make stories out of nothing. There's going to be lots of player XYZ looks good, and then player 1, 2, 3, they don't look good. I just would warn fans not to read into it too much. I wouldn't worry. It's minicamp. It's not training camp yet. Even training camp, we've seen that a player might not have a good training camp, but then be fine in the regular season and, in the postseason. But some things that are kind of sticking out to me, though, is it actually made me laugh in that regard where they're talking about the QBs shining. Well, yeah. I hope that Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and Jimmy Garoppolo, a second-round pick, the heir apparent, are going to be shining against a secondary made up of, your number one cornerback of Logan Ryan without pads. I hope that they're shining.
Yeah, no,
that should be a necessity.
I feel like they're reporting just for the need to report
That's
things.
Just it.
And that's understandable. I mean, I've done it. You and I are doing it right now. We're doing a Patriots podcast that we started in the offseason, which is incredibly difficult, as opposed to starting it in the middle of the season where we could talk about each week and each matchup. But I guess it just all comes down to, yeah, of course they're going to be shining, but I mean, what else are you going to write?
Yeah.
I mean, you could factor in like, oh, Garoppolo might be feeling the pressure of maybe having to play 4 games with Brady suspended, or Brady might be a little bit irked off because of the whole situation, and it's good to see him not being affected by that. And I think that's kind of what they were going for. But I also understand your point. Like, yeah, there's not much to take away from these practices yet, but I mean, reporters are going to report, and that's just what's going to happen. And I'm excited to see what happens when they put the pads on, when they start getting some full practices, when they start getting some scrimmages on. Aren't they? Believe they're doing a joint practice with the Saints.
Yeah, that won't be till training camp. That'll start up mid-July. I think they have this week of minicamp, and then they have, I think, 6 weeks off. Then they'll go home, go get their last little bit of rest before the grind really starts, and then so we'll start the official campaign of defending the Super Bowl. But there are some things we can take from minicamp. It isn't all just a waste. I don't want to make it sound like it's just a charade, because it's not. It is important.
It is. Like Bill was saying, you got to make sure everyone knows what they're doing, so that way once they get to the next round of training camp, they can equally evaluate them. It's not fair to evaluate someone who doesn't know as much as the person next to them. It's not fair to compare the two in that situation. I guess my question for you, Cody, is word on the street is that Jimmy Garoppolo has been practicing very closely with Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman, and from what I've read, he has, quote, complete control. And I just want your take on that, because obviously given the current situation, obviously we still have the appeal a week away. But as it stands right now, Jimmy Garoppolo will be starting the first 4 games, and will be throwing to those 2. I'm not asking if this is inspiring any confidence that you didn't have, because I know you have confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo because you and I have talked about it. But what do you think about him practicing closely with Jules and Rob?
I mean, I that's good. That you want that. I think we're still a few years out from a serious conversation of Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady for the starting role.
Absolutely, I
but
agree.
right now, that's exactly what you want. You're exactly right. As it stands, Tom Brady will not be back until, I think, technically week 6 because they have a bye. So, he's going to miss the first 4 games as of right now, and you want your starting quarterback to be on the same page as your 2-star offensive weapons, and that is Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman.
Yeah, you look at how much time Tom has spent with those 2, and it doesn't matter what sport it's in. It could be football, it could be basketball, it could be any pro sport, it could be esports, whatever. I know this for a fact from seeing all these conversations with all these athletes saying when you play with someone and you practice with them enough and you're around them enough, you can read each other's minds. You know exactly what the other one's thinking in game situations. And that's exactly what Garoppolo is trying to do. Establish that buddy system. You look at Tom Brady. He's obviously friends with all of his receivers, especially those 2. Running into the end zone after a punt return to see Julian Edelman, like that type of thing. And I think that's just what Garoppolo is trying to build there, as well as the control. And I'm loving that. I seriously think that Garoppolo, if Brady does end up missing these 4 games as he's scheduled to, I think Garoppolo will have a decent time. I think he'll turn some heads as to anyone who still thinks the Patriots can't win a couple games without Tom Brady, who obviously forget the Matt Castle season. My next question is, the Patriots just picked up another quarterback to back up Garoppolo. Did we talk about that last week? I can't remember.
No, it just happened a couple days ago.
Yep. It was Ryan Mallett, right?
Matt Flynn.
Why did I think Ryan Mallett? I'm an idiot. Why is that name popping in my head?
Because Ryan Mallett was the 3rd one last year.
Okay. That would probably explain. So Matt Flynn hopped onto the team, and I'm getting to the point now where people like come up to me and they know I'm like super into sports, so they're always like asking my opinion on certain things, and they're like, so what do you think? You think Matt Flynn should start, before Garoppolo? He has more experience in the NFL. And I just looked at him like, yeah, but Garoppolo has more experience in the Patriot system, which is 10 times more complicated. So as much as it's great to see, I think Matt Flynn's a great quarterback for what he's worth, but in terms of putting him up against Garoppolo, yeah, he does have more NFL experience, but he doesn't have as much Patriots experience, and that's where I give the advantage to Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Matt Flynn signing is much more than bringing in a 3rd arm for camp.
Getting a backup to the backup if Brady can't play.
Belichick loves having 3 guys in camp, and if Brady's suspension gets exonerated, I think Matt Flynn is gone by the end of camp. I can't imagine him keeping 3 quarterbacks when he doesn't need to, but you're right. I think that if it is 1 game, if it is 2 games, he is going to carry Matt Flynn for those 1 or 2 games. Then after that, he'll get cut, and he'll go on his way. Matt Flynn's a solid depth quarterback. We've seen that as a starting player. He doesn't really have the ability, but we've also seen him. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, he came into Foxborough and almost stole a game from the Patriots where I think Aaron Rodgers was hurt. He can put together a good game from time to time. I don't think that's really any worry for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that speaks to the Patriots thinking that the suspension will be upheld or Brady won't get exonerated. I think all that is Belichick saying, hey, I want a 3rd guy in preseason. I mean, if you're not going to play Brady, it's a lot to ask for Garoppolo to play the whole game. You want 3 guys. You want to be able to switch in, switch out. God forbid one of them goes down. You don't want to have to put in Brady in if Jimmy Garoppolo gets banged up a little bit. And then, God only knows what happens when you have guys trying to make a name for themselves and you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time on the other side of the ball. Guys go in and make hard hits all the time. But I don't read a lot into it. He's a decent depth guy. As a number 3 quarterback, he's probably one of the best in the NFL, honestly. But by no means do I think that this speaks to them lacking faith in Jimmy Garoppolo, them lacking faith in Tom Brady's appeal, or any of that matter.
They need a contingency plan if Tom Brady is out and Garoppolo gets hurt. Like, who do you have then? Now you have Matt Flynn. Not a bad pickup in my opinion. Don't think he'll be. I agree with you. I don't think he'll be staying around that much if the suspension he is exonerated. But spoiler, I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll get into that later in the show as we talk about more Deflategate stuff a week away from the appeal. Whoopee! I love talking Deflategate. I hate it. I hate it so much. Please just blow it up. What else do you have to talk about minicamp?
Well, no, minicamp, I think that some other things that might start to come into play as the week develops are some positional battles. Some might be starting to shape up. Others will not be. The ones that should be starting to shape up, we should get a feel for the running back situation. Obviously, I have to imagine LeGarrette Blount will get the majority of the carries, although he is suspended for the first game of the year. So you have to imagine, hopefully Jonas Gray gets in there. I'm a big fan of Tyler Gaffney. But for the third down role of running back that Shane Vereen really mastered, following Danny Woodhead's steps, which then Danny Woodhead followed Kevin Falk's steps. A lot of people say James White. He was drafted not this past draft, but the year before by the Patriots. He's out of Wisconsin. Good hands. He can block pretty well. A lot of people put him as the shoe-in for the third down running back role, but a lot of talk has come out with Brandon Bolden actually making some pretty big strides and catching the ball well. Obviously, we know he's a great blocker. He's a master at special teams.
I love those catching running backs.
Yeah.
And you can tell Brady does too.
Yeah, exactly. You always want that little outlet pass. You want that check down. I mean, Brady's always like that. You look back at that Super Bowl in 2001. I think it was J.R. Redmond. He kept, check down to Redmond, check down to Redmond. Most of those plays before they really got going, before Vinatieri would ultimately kick the field goal to win the Super Bowl. But that third down running back is a very key role in the Patriots offense. And, you even saw it in this past year's Super Bowl. Vereen had 11 catches. He only had 60-something yards, but he had 11 catches. That's an immense number. I think he led the team for a running back, even a wide receiver. That's a lot of catches.
Yeah,
so that's
if you're coming out of the backfield and getting 11 catches with a positive gain, I mean, there's not much more you can ask for, especially in an offensive system like the Patriots, because like we said, Tom Brady loves that type of third down outlet pass like that. I wouldn't mind seeing Brandon Bolden kind of get into that. Would be pretty neat. I'm still high on my LeGarrette Blount horse. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be a good first and second down runner. Because when he can punch through a hole, he's just a monster.
Well, that's just the thing. He needs to get to the second level. He's slow to the hole, but then once he gets in and gets into the second level, that's where he does most of his damage. You see that in some games. I think Detroit, that first game back, when he was getting to the second level, you see it against Indianapolis. They can't stop a nosebleed, much less LeGarrette Blount. But no, I really do think that Brandon Bolden is going to have something to say for the third down running back role. If he can work on his hands, if he can work on, developing the playbook, I think he's one of those guys that Bill really likes. He comes in, he works hard every day. I think it meant a lot for Bolden to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, it meant a lot for everyone, but Brandon Bolden's grandfather actually was on one of the first Super Bowl winning teams for the Chiefs, so I think that, it really meant a lot for him that, he can share something with his grandfather like that, and I think that he wants to come in and get another one, so I think that you might look at a player like Brandon Bolden really, driving to increase his role on the team and expand on it and hopefully be an important part of the offense moving forward. I think he will be, but we'll see. Like I said, that's one of the key battles that should be starting to pan out this week. Again, no pads. We won't really know till training camp into the regular season, but this is where you'll start to see some of these battles come out. Obviously, cornerback. That's the next one.
I was just about to say,
that's the big one.
We've been talking a lot about the offensive side of the ball. What's on the other side?
We
know it's an absolute train wreck at this point.
Yeah, we'll flip back to offense in a second, but obviously cornerback is one of the only positions on defense that I think we'll start to see who kind of comes out. No contact. They're doing some drills where they'll still cover guys, no tackling, but fighting for balls and this and that. Obviously, it sounds like Logan Ryan, he's been the hot name coming out of OTAs and out of minicamp now, that he's having a spectacular beginning of the year. It looks like he's going to be your number one corner, I guess, quote, asterisk number one corner. After that, Malcolm Butler is starting to come back, and now that he's, back out of the doghouse, he's been playing well, and, Bradley Fletcher is another name in there. I don't really know. If I have to guess what is going to happen, I think it's going to be Logan Ryan as your number one, Butler as your two, Fletcher in the slot, and then after that, We'll see what happens. Darrell Roberts, they might mix him in on, some other packages or as a sub. But it's a real mess. We'll continue to see how it works out. Everyone that listens to the show knows my feelings on how I feel about that cornerback group. I don't feel confident in them, but I hope that they can prove me wrong. But lastly, the last position battle that I want to touch on really quickly is that fourth wide receiver. Obviously, we know that Julian Edelman is the 1, LaFell is the 2, and Amendola is the 3. After that, it is an open field. You look at guys like Brian Timms. I think Brandon Gibson, they brought him in. He had some experience with Josh McDaniels playing in an offense run by McDaniels. He's another name. Don't forget about him. But the guy that I really want to step up and I want to see take that final step into becoming a productive NFL player is old friend Aaron Dobson. It looks like his foot is finally healed. A lot of reporters are coming out saying that he looks fast again. He looks like he's finally gained that step. Again, no pads. He's always been one of those guys that when you rough him up, it can get in his head. I hope that he is fully healthy now finally, and we start to see shades of what he was becoming. His rookie season, you remember, I think it was the Steelers game. He had 2 touchdowns. I think he had over 100 yards. He was really starting to click with Brady. He has all the physical attributes in the world, 6'3", over 200 pounds. He can run. I think he ran like a 4.5 40 in his combine. He's a fast player, makes good catches. He made a great one-handed catch down in Marshall in his college days. He is a very skilled athlete. He just needs to put the mental side of it in, needs to put in the work, understand the playbook, get on the same page with the quarterback, and if he does, he'll be off and running. And I really do think, though, we've talked about this in other shows, but I'll say it again. If Jimmy Garoppolo plays the first game or two, it is only going to help Aaron Dobson because he loves running those go routes. Garoppolo's got that nice touch on the deep fades. It is going to help get Aaron Dobson off to a fast start. If he gets off to a fast start, when Brady comes back, he should be good to go. And even if Brady is in for the first game of the year, I hope that they can start to, kind of pull their bond back together. They were starting to click on halfway through his rookie year and then continue it into having hopefully a pretty productive stay with the Patriots. If they can really get one more receiver off and running, this offense is going to be scary. The running backs, we don't really know who's going to be, but the wide receivers we know, the tight ends, Gronk and Scott Chandler are going to be 2 huge monsters in the middle of the field. This offense is going to be ripping and ready to go.
So moving on now, with a week until Brady's appeal.
A little under, I think, actually.
A little under a week, yeah. Some more Deflategate breaking news, quote unquote. But quote unquote, none of this is new to me. All of this is stuff that I already knew. The American Enterprise Institute, or AEI, basically critiqued the Wells report and came out saying it is, quote, deeply flawed. Welcome to the party. You're about a couple months late now. They basically, if I am understanding correctly, I just heard a summation on the radio. I'm pretty sure it was Zolak and Beetle, I think, who were going through it. But all I basically got from it was that any other normal, non-biased investigator would have looked at the results from their initial testing and said, "Okay, there's nothing here. We can't do anything with this. Nothing is doable here." Whereas they kept digging until they found something, and eventually they did find something, which comes to the point of, do the ends justify the means? A lot of people would say yes. My point is this: this isn't new. This is stuff that I've been saying for weeks now. Is that it's bullcrap. And it is 1,000% bullcrap until you find those text messages, and then there's some merit to it. And my point is, do they go through and dig deeper because they knew the Patriots were guilty, or do they go in and dig deeper because they wanted the Patriots to be guilty?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know about that. The text messages, obviously, we don't.
They
don't look good. That's the most damning evidence they have.
Exactly.
But I think what this report was doing was just simply coming out and, you heard Goodell state it in his, pretty much State of the Nation address that he did at the NFL's owners meeting. He just kept saying that if new information comes up, then I will take that and look at it and determine, what will be said at the Tom Brady appeal. And, those people, we sat here right after Kraft kind of put up the white flag and we said, I wonder if there's a deal. I wonder if there's a deal. This was the deal. we're seeing it right here. This AEI report. This is a company that I'm pretty sure historically just, and yes, those people that listen to Felger and Maz and that hate them, this is pretty much straight from Felger. This is his take, but I don't agree with him all the time. I do agree with him on this one. So
it's very
just
rare.
Hear me out here. So the AEI report was kind of like, it seems like, why would they be doing this? Why would they historically into politics and this and that, why are they talking about sports here? Unless if somebody hired them to do that. And, people are saying the Crafts did it. I don't think the Crafts did it. I think the Crafts were done.
The only reason people say the Crafts did it is because people went snooping themselves and looked into the American Enterprise Institute and found that, wait a second, they're funded by the Kraft Institute or the Kraft Foundation, and everyone freaked out. See, look, the Patriots are funding them. Of course, they have ties into the Patriots. It's not Robert Kraft's foundation. It is a different Kraft Foundation.
Yeah.
You need to read the fine print there, kids.
So, and you look at what Goodell said at that State of the Nation address or whatever it was. It was, if anything new comes up, I'll take that into account. Literally less than a week later, I'm pretty sure it was, new information came up in a case where a player was suspended for an OUI, a 2-game suspension. It got down to a $50,000 fine because of the same quote, new information. So what is this AEI report doing? It is a credible source coming out and saying the Wells report, the only thing it's good for is to wipe your bum. That's all it is. The science in there is a joke. You can't prove they didn't take the PSI at the beginning, and that's that. You know what Goodell's going to do here? And I agree with Felger. He's going to look at Brady and say, fine, your integrity of the game suspension is alleviated. We can't prove you broke the rules. Let it be known that, in your legacy, you didn't break the rules. We didn't prove it. Blah, blah, blah. But we are going to punish you for, getting in the way of the investigation.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Which they will take it to the next step. And his lawyers will talk about how they didn't want to make, an example out of, Tom Brady turning over his cell phone without the correct subpoena and all that, because it is a union, and there are things that they can and can't do. And
I've heard someone say that if you turn over your phone to any other investigation organization that is not the federal government, you're an idiot. So.
And I say turn over your phone. I realize it's not literally Tom Brady taking his iPhone out of his pocket and handing it to Ted Wells. I realize that he would be right there showing Ted Wells things. But still, you don't do that. I'm not in a labor union. I know people who are, and all of them said that, that's stupid. I would never, even if I was innocent, I still don't turn over my phone. You don't need to. You don't do that. You don't set a precedent. So I agree with them for doing that. They're going to take this all the way, and I think that almost Roger Goodell wants them to take it all the way. Roger Goodell doesn't want Tom Brady suspended. He doesn't. Roger Goodell wins if they take it to court here. This is what's going to happen. He's going to cut it in half to 2 games. Brady's going to take it to the next step. The court is going to say, you had no right even suspending him for getting in the way of the investigation. There was nothing to see here. You were asking him to do things that went against the union, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to take that away. But and Goodell wins. This is why. Brady's there opening night, raising the banner. You got Big Ben versus Tom Brady. That's 6 Super Bowl rings between those 2 guys. That's a good Thursday night game. That's a damn good game. And then Goodell can look at the other 31 teams, go, hey, I tried. I gave him 4 games. And, they appealed. This report came out. I looked at that. Come on, that report was good. And then they took me to court, and, my hands are tied here. My hands are tied.
So, as once again, Goodell comes off as the innocent one in the situation.
There you go.
And the Patriots become even more hateful. And that's wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. The only reason I wouldn't agree with that, I think that's completely plausible, and I think that could very well happen. The only reason I'm not completely gung ho about it happening though is just the nature of how Roger Goodell is kind of like a chameleon in a way. He kind of adjusts to whatever situation he needs to. In that situation, he would play the kind of play the victim there, hey man, I tried. But they just kept coming at me, and the law said I had to stop, so I had to stop. I could see him pulling that angle. I could also see him pulling the angle of crowd control.
Yeah.
Where he throws out, okay, so we can't prove anything, So Tom Brady can't, like, we're not going to suspend him for those 2 games, but we're still going to suspend him for obstructing the investigation. And he'll put that out there, and he'll wait like 3 weeks. And he'll wait, and whatever Tom tries to do in court, I have a feeling Roger's not going to take that sitting down if there's a lot of backlash, which there was. You look at how this Wells report crap came out. They released a little bit, they waited. Released a little bit more, and they waited.
You're right.
They were testing the waters, feeling the
That was
blowback.
just it.
And what's the blowback? Every single time. Take the Super Bowl away! They're cheaters! They never won a Super Bowl without cheating! It's stupid.
Yeah.
You can't. The NFL, the general NFL lay fan is an absolute idiot. People who don't read into anything and just look at the box scores and then decide their storylines from there, it's awful. And only read the ESPN titles and take their storylines from there instead of actually looking at contexts of situations. It frustrates me so much.
This has been an utter cluster since the beginning. It really has, with the, they don't say it was a sting, blah, blah. It was a blown sting. They blew it. What is I think that's from Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison, when Adam Sandler just goes, "You blew it!" And he just yells, that they blew it.
Yeah.
They blew it here. From not taking PSI at the beginning, from even the Wells report when they said about Walt Anderson, they were like, no, Walt, we're pretty sure they used this gauge. And he said, no, I think I used the other one. They said, no, you used that one.
Okay, I guess I used that one then.
So I just, it's been a mess. The text messages look terrible. Don't get me wrong. Did the Patriots push the envelope here?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Dude, you kidding me?
That's what
I could have told you 2 months ago that the Patriots were pushing the envelope.
They do. That's, Bill Belichick's playing chess while everyone's playing checkers. That's what he does. But now, what was, if at anything, it was rolling through a stop sign, and now they're getting, their license taken away for life. That's what the punishment is here. But it's been a mess from the beginning. Hopefully we have closure on this soon. Obviously, it will always be, I don't want to call it a huge stain on Brady's resume, but it will be a stain. There will be a stain, and the haters will always say, what about Deflategate? What about Deflategate? I think NFL memes already had, I actually laughed at it, because, I try to take things lighthearted, but it was a picture of Brady when
with
he's
the
holding
4 rings, and each one was a different excuse.
There you go.
One was Vinatieri, one was Deflategate, one was Spygate, one was something stupid.
I think the other one, there are 2 Vinatieri, then Spygate and Deflategate. But
yeah. No, Brady's always, the Patriots and Brady have always had those stains, because
there you go.
when, I hate going back to this quote, but I'm going ahead and say it. They hate us because they ain't us.
There you go.
The Patriots have, all right, Marky Mark. They have so much success that they're going to try to find reasons to poke holes in it, whereas if another team did it, they'd be like, it's whatever.
I think it was Michael Irvin that said it about Deflategate, actually at NFL, the Super Bowl Media Day, and it was perfect. It was exactly right. People like the rise story, and they like the fall. They don't like the continued state of dominance. Nope. That's not fun. That doesn't give new markets a chance to win.
It's not fun if you live outside of New England.
There you go. Well, it's not fun for the majority of the NFL fans. And I think you're going to start to see it. We'll talk about them later in the show, but a team like the Chicago Blackhawks, now that they've been at the top for so long now, you are going to see hardcore hockey pundits that are outside of Chicago start to try to tear them down with every single thing they do.
Yep.
But right now, the Patriots have been at the top for so long, and granted, I know they didn't win a Super Bowl for 10 years. They were always in the conversation to win a Super Bowl. That's when I say they're at the top. They are on the short list of 4 to 5 teams, year in, year out. They can win a Super Bowl. And now, what do we have? We have another big story starting to, the dynasty is crumbling. We saw it in Kansas City. We saw it, now with Deflategate and blah, blah.
Cue up they're not good anymore.
We saw a weak team. The New England Patriots, let's face it, they're not good anymore.
There you go. That's what it's all about. They like the rise and they like the fall. They don't like the continued dominance. That's where the Patriots have been. Fans, one of my friends from back home, Deflategate actually made him pretty, upset. We were all upset about it, but he was pretty upset, and I just told him, I said, embrace the hate. We are the evil empire. We're the villains. We are the bad boys of the NFL.
Is this how it feels to be a Yankee fan?
Maybe.
Apparently.
And like I told him, Jerry Thornton always said it best. When they stop hating on us, that means we stopped winning. So let them hate. I love that. Keep it coming. Just keep it coming, because the more they cry, the more I know that they want to be a part of an organization that wins as much as us. And as much as they say, you cheated, blah, blah. No.
I don't want to be a part of an organization that cheats.
Every team bends the rules to a certain degree. The Patriots got pinched once. Spygate. They broke the rules. Did it make them win Super Bowls? No, but they broke the rules. Yes. This time around, I don't know what they did. Did they push the envelope? Yes.
That's for sure.
Did they deserve to get a first-round pick, a fourth-round pick, $1 million, and lose their star quarterback for 4 games? No, they don't deserve that. That needs to get cut down. I think the picks are gone, unfortunately. That's really that's the major hit to the team, and I think Brady will get exonerated. I actually think maybe even that was in the discussion way back when Kraft and Goodell were talking about the punishment. Kraft said, look, take it on the team, give us, a big penalty, and then, you can give Brady 4 games, but then swipe it away, push it under the rug, come out with this report, blah, blah, blah. This was all planned. I don't think that the NFL and the Patriots have been at each other's throats.
No,
they don't know they know what each other's moves have been this entire time, and now we'll see. I really do think that this is going to get maybe not fully exonerated, but he won't serve more than 1 game. I really think it's only going to be 1, and the more I think, it's going to be that Thursday night, unfortunately. Mike from Attleboro, # no Brady, no banner. They won't raise the banner that night. They'll play, his first game, Brady's first game will be in Buffalo. That'll be kind of scary one. They'll come home to Jacksonville, beat up on, the joke team that is the Jaguars, raise the banner. Everybody's happy. $8 Bud Lights going around to the whole stadium. It'll be a good time. That's what it's going to be.
I'm just worried about friggin' spineless chameleon Goodell here just playing the crowd card. Like, no. He'll still get suspended. Don't worry. We're going to
remember
2 games still.
Goodell's a puppet. Kraft is the puppet master.
Okay. Well, if Brady does end up serving those 2 games, I'll bring that one back to you and say what's the puppet master doing here.
Hey, we'll see. I remember a certain game that was played, actually the most recent Patriots game, where I said Wilson's going to throw one. Wilson's going to throw a pick here. All game I said it to you, and to which you were laughing at me for the whole time. Or not laughing, well, in amongst your almost tears that they were going to lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
It's because you kept texting me, yo, dude, just got to stop Wilson. Wilson can't throw. If he throws, he's going to get picked up every time, and he threw like 3 touchdowns.
Every time. I said he's going to throw you one. Wilson is going to throw a pick, and he threw a pick.
Well, no.
I was questioning myself.
No. You were saying for the weeks before the Super Bowl to me in text messages, dude, we can't. Granted, this is correct by saying the Seahawks will not win if Wilson has to throw. However, it did not look like that, in terms of how the game was going, because you were just like, dude, don't worry. If Wilson throws, we're fine. And then he threw for like 3 touchdowns, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
2.
Excuse me.
2, yeah, 2.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you watch it. You get your stats right, mister.
Would have been a 3rd if it weren't for Malcolm Butler.
Hey. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If Glue Helmet doesn't catch that one, they go undefeated that year. Something.
Voodoo Magic.
Mario
Curse
Manningham.
It.
Something. Wes Welker could have caught it. Something. That's why I don't care about the Butler thing. But
they can't win a Super Bowl without the inflated balls. Yeah. All right. Let's check the PSI of the balls that were down in Arizona. I'm pretty sure those were perfect.
That's the one I always go back to. Granted, no Giants fan has ever said anything to me about. I mean, we have, one of our mutual friends that we did radio shows with is a very big Giants fan. He never said anything. My girlfriend's parents are both big Giants fans. I think it was, there was one Giants fan. I can't remember who it was exactly.
My ex-roommate's girlfriend is unbearable. Absolutely unbearable.
One of them said something about how, Brady, they cheated, blah, blah, deflate footballs. And I said that. I said, I would have loved to know the PSI, that ball that formed to David Tyree's helmet so we could hold on to it. I'm not crying about the PSI there. Rodney Harrison, you got to punch that ball out. Anyways, but there's no way. Even the Odell catch this year, the guy caught it with 3 fingers. That ball was 12.5 PSI? No, it wasn't. And nobody cares.
Because it's not the Patriots.
Nobody cares.
Because it's not the Patriots.
Because it doesn't matter. But because it was the Patriots and because it was that rat, annoying organization that hangs AFC finalist banners. Them. The druggy owner. The team that is like the fantasy crew that, we got Frank Gore and Andre Johnson, Super Bowl, here we come. We still can't stop the run, but we're going to score points all year and then get punched in the mouth in the playoffs and cry about it. That team cried and tattled, went to daddy, said, oh, they spit in my milk. Ooh. But then when, daddy's not looking, they're doing the same stuff. That team went and did that. I can't wait till that Colts-Patriots game. The Patriots are going to just
If they put
just destroy them.
I will not be satisfied until they put up 100.
It's just going to be
I will not be satisfied. Is the NFL ever seen a score go as high as 100?
I don't know.
I
I don't
can't
know
remember.
that answer. I don't think so.
I'm going to have to look that up when I pause.
I think the highest I remember, there was like the highest Patriots one I remember, I think it was like 59-0. They beat Tennessee in 2009 because I remember that was on the Bill Belichick of Football Life or something like that on NFL Network, and it was I remember Jonathan Kraft in the press box, and he had a really corny line like, "Oh, Randy's gonna have great fantasy numbers today," or something like that. It says 72-41.
72 is the highest point total of a single team in a game. The Washington
Challenge
Redskins.
accepted.
Washington Redskins in 1966.
But hey, they can hang up their AFC finalist banners. Did the Patriots get something this weekend that might commemorate their season? Something that
I don't know. Something that might weigh heavy on the hands, I think.
something pretty shiny on my hand.
Everything is encapsulated in this ring when I look at.
So this past weekend at the Kraft house, they gave out the Super Bowl rings. Of course, the major headlines. One, Darrelle Revis was not present. One, Vince Wilfork was present. I watched the happenings through Chandler Jones's Snapchat story, which was quite entertaining. Hanging out with Tom Brady and Big Vince, of course with Rob and Julian. Those three seem to just be always like together in his Snapchats. But no, those rings look probably the biggest, I think, out of the four that I've seen.
Well, it's the biggest Super Bowl ring of all time.
Well,
So yeah.
Well, then,
205 diamonds. I think
it's so huge though.
Yeah, it's enormous.
Speaking again of Chandler Jones, he on his Facebook posted a picture of his mom wearing it, and like it just makes her hand look so much more old and frail than it already is, just because it's so massive. It's a very pretty ring as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good looking ring. I like how you have the three, early 2000s Lombardi trophies represented on the ring, but they're kind of in the background. And in the foreground, you have the one, from 2014, kind of the new guard winning one. You had some of the old guard as well from those past teams, Vince and Brady and Belichick and, McDaniels, Ernie Adams. You go down the list, Bears, all them. But still, this was a relatively new guard team that you looked at, you might be able to start something again now.
Julian's first, Rob's first.
It's everyone's first except, a couple members of the coaching staff and then Brady and Wilfork. Everyone else, first with the Patriots. You have guys like Jonathan Casillas, who won in 2009 with the Saints. And it was actually funny. He tweeted out a picture, or Instagram did both, of he was wearing his Saints ring at the event, and he had his Saints ring and his Patriots ring side by side once he got them. And it looks like the Patriots Super Bowl ring makes the Saints ring look like a high school
class ring. That's hilarious.
It's just it's stupid how much bigger it is. But no, it looked like a great event. It was funny to watch Brady attempt to dance. He's got some serious
Does he have the
white boy moves.
I'll say the typical white boy moves? Yeah.
Yeah, but
oh man.
Yeah,
look at the difference.
I'm pulling up the picture of the Casillas ring.
It is
I advise
embarrassing.
anyone out there to go look it up.
It's on his Twitter.
On Jonathan Casillas' Twitter. Not even a comparison. Championship rings.
Wow.
I mean, it's almost double the size of the Saints ring. It's quite something. Granted, the Saints ring is very, very good looking.
Are you kidding me?
It's a Super Bowl ring. It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
But it stands no measure. And I think I can't remember who tweeted it, but I want to say it was Christopher Price actually from WEEI. I'm not sure though. He tweeted out, at what point do they stop giving rings and they just give diamond encrusted gloves out to these guys? Because these rings are just getting more elaborate each year.
Yep.
But hey, the amount of work, the amount of stress, the amount of even luck that goes into winning one of these things. When you do win one, you celebrate like there is no tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
obviously, the Crafts put on quite the party.
I like how you put in luck there, because that is kind of something that people don't like to see, in a competitive sport, whether it be like an athletic sport or an e-sport or whatever. I hear so many people complaining everything there should be no human element. There should be everything completely set, no random, no nothing. And
that's why we love sports.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, sometimes the ball takes a bad hop. Sometimes it sometimes you can catch it in the most peculiar way against your helmet. Sometimes it will bounce off of your leg and then into your hands while you're lying on your back. Sometimes it will bounce into your hands because you read a cut route. But no, there's a lot of luck that actually comes into a various amount of sports, bad hops and whatnot. You can only do so much in sports. And I guess, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of my argument against people who discredit any team from winning anything because of quote unquote luck. Because the human element brings so much to the game, and that's what makes sports great. And you are right. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and luck to win a Super Bowl ring. So of course, when you get one, you're gonna celebrate it like there's no tomorrow. When you're Brady and you get 4, you're just gonna light it up. You're just gonna flash the hardware on your hand.
Yeah.
And, maybe blind someone if someone shines
That
a
was
light at it too
the
wrong.
picture he put up on his Facebook, though, thanking his teammates, the guys that work with him every day, the fans, his family, everyone. That was pretty. It's a pretty intense picture when he has his hand down. He has all 4 rings, and Giselle has her hand on top of his. But that's
I love
quite
that one. Love it.
That's quite the picture. It speaks volumes to how far the comeback kid, the California kid, has come from barely playing in San Mateo to then going on to Michigan, fighting for a spot, being the 199th pick in the draft, and then being the oops mistake kid of, well, Bledsoe's down, let's throw the kid in, see what he can do. And now look, I mean, four Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 MVPs of the regular season, the only unanimous MVP. You will never convince me that Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback of all time. He is. What I've seen him do the past, really 15 years, but obviously since I've really been watching and been into it, the past, 7 or 8 years. It's been pretty amazing. It was a great showing the other night. It was funny to watch everybody dancing and stuff. And what was Wiz Khalifa doing there?
I have no idea.
He wasn't really performing. He was just kind of dancing and hanging out.
Yeah.
No, I thought they had DJ Drama there.
They might have.
So I didn't really get what Wiz was doing. I was surprised that Rick Ross wasn't there, because I know Rick Ross and Robert Kraft actually have this really close friendship. I'm pretty sure they're very good friends, because Rick Ross has been to many a Patriot event, including I think he's been in Kraft's box for games. So it's kind of funny how very unlikely very unlikely friendship, but hey, whatever.
They have a lot in common.
Yeah, they're both bosses.
They're both bosses. They both like money.
The boss.
They both have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they both like the Patriots.
No, it's funny though. Watching Wiz Khalifa, and then I have to say, the man who stole the show though was once again Rob Gronkowski, who wears what was it?
He's bald now too.
Yeah, he shaved
because
for
he shaved his
charity.
head. Yeah.
What was it? Tommy Bahama shirt. A Tommy Bahama shirt to a Super Bowl ring presentation. That was the only thing you could find, Gronk. Never change.
He's the most frat boy.
Never change,
ever.
Gronk. That was just so funny.
I want to get drinks with this guy.
My God,
he seems hilarious.
He seems like such a funny guy. But no, that was great. I loved, and Brady put it out today. I advise everyone to go look at it on his Facebook, a video of him with his dance moves, and he has a Dancing with the Stars remix where I think the Tony judge, the kind of mean one that was like Simon from American Idol, he comes in and just craps all over Brady's moves and says he looks like an idiot pretty much. But no, that was great. I enjoyed it. I was glad I could finally see the rings. You can actually go to jostens.com now, and they have a fan line of things you can buy. You can buy a replica Super Bowl ring in acrylic. Pretty nice book weight, but $300 book weight, that's pretty expensive. But nonetheless, for those hardcore fans, if you really want to own a piece of history, own a piece of what the players have, you can go do that now. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I like the rings. There's only one more. The banner raising will kind of be the last part of all this, and once that goes up, it's really on to 2015, 2016. We're already there, really, but that's last
when it
thing.
starts,
Once we see that banner go up, and every game or every time they pan out on any broadcast, and you see the 4 Super Bowl banners.
Anytime they're in Gillette, they always show it.
Right, and then you'll see really this is that that was great, but now let's put number 5 up there.
Absolutely, I agree. What I just got a quick question for you. What's the protocol on players auctioning off or selling things they wore in game?
In game,
I'm saying, how much do you talking about owning a piece of history? I'm wondering how much one of Malcolm Butler's gloves would have cost. that caught the game-winning Super
Oh,
Bowl?
I don't
the
know.
game-winning interception.
I
Probably a lot.
actually
I'm not even sure if they sold.
no, I don't think
I know they
think
did.
that
I'm
those
just
go-
saying how much if they were to be sold. I'm wondering
Oh,
how
I
high
have no
it would
idea.
go.
It would be really high. I know that
Would it get into the millions?
actually though, I know both people who own a part of history actually. So in the AFC divisional game this year, Deron Harmon had that big pick against Joe Flacco that kind of cemented the game. Baltimore would get one more chance to throw in the end zone, but that was really kind of the end. And Deron Harmon put it on Facebook, a fan contest of whichever comment got the most likes would get his autographed cleats that he wore from that game. And one of my close friends, Brian Walsh, actually, hopefully we'll have on here in a couple of weeks, CEO of I Am Pats Nation, formerly known as Fourth and Goal Apparel. Some of you Patriots fans out there might have bought stuff from him. He makes some great shirts. He actually won the auction. He got both cleats, ended up making a deal with one of my other friends for some other autographs, and bartered away. Wheeling and dealing, traded away one of the cleats because again, it was both cleats. He signed them both. They were identical, and like you said, if I can get some other autographs. So it's funny that I've one of my best friends from home actually has one of the cleats now, and then my friend Brian has the other cleat. But I think for the most part, players can do pretty much whatever they want with the stuff they wear. I know a lot of them will trade stuff. You just see the jersey trades at the end of lots of games, the mutual sign of respect.
Yeah.
There's only some things that I think that whether it be the Patriots want it for an auction. I know they auction away some of the game-used jerseys for charity. Other things, milestone type things are of big games. They like to keep a couple things for the hall.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think it's kind of like, I don't think they really use their jerseys more than once. I think they get new jerseys almost every game.
I can only imagine what Malcolm Butler's gloves would have sold for if he
a
sold
lot
them.
of money.
Lots of money. So we're gonna have two ending segments today because we had one that we agreed on, and then I have one that I kind of just want to talk about. We're gonna be talking about the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs just finished off in the last two nights, and of course. We're not just football fans, although football is our favorite sport. We are also, all sports fans. And we'll get to those finals in a second, but I just wanted to talk about a story from this weekend when I was down in the Old Port. I was listening. It had nothing to do with the Old Port, but I was listening to the radio on my way down. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was the most stupid thing I ever heard because he was saying that people complaining about National League versus American League matchups aren't mad at the matchup because of any reason other than the fact that it's not like the same as other things. He compared it to someone being mad about National League versus American League as someone being mad about NFC versus AFC, about interconference play in the NFL. To which I screamed at my radio, "Are you out of your mind?" That would be like, yeah, if the quarterbacks also had to kick in the NFC and not the AFC.
Oh, because of the DH. That's where you're coming in.
See, he completely ignored that. All he said was, "Oh, these people don't like it because it's not the same." And like, no, that's not. That's not why they don't like it. They don't like it because they don't want their pitchers to hit. Like, it's that simple. And
we want old 40-year-old players to hit and get 5 hits off lefties all year, like we do in the American League with the Boston Red Sox.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox are not something I want to talk about on this podcast ever, especially this year. Oh my goodness! But no, it was just so stupid that like he was throwing that out there. Like you don't hate it because it's bad. You hate it because it's different. No, it's not different. It's not like. You need to bring out the he started talking about consistency. Like if you're gonna be mad about that, be mad about NFC versus AFC. No, because the quarterbacks in the NFC don't also kick. Like that would be different if we had to go to the Giants stadium and play at the Giants, and then Tom Brady had to kick field goals.
Or I had to play like safety or something stupid. Like that.
No, I was gonna say linebacker. I'm like, no, that's a little bit too much.
It's a little.
But no,
that escalated quickly.
It's amazing how I was like, man, how did I ever get on the radio here? And I'm like, oh, apparently they just let any idiot on the radio.
Well,
so
I'm old and I listen to NPR now.
Oh goodness gracious! There's some point I wanted to break this one off with was I don't know. I think that the National League rule where pitchers hit should be abolished anyway. So there's that. I
It's
think
not pure. It's the pure game.
no DH everywhere, dude. Moving on to our last segment, we want to talk quickly about the playoffs wrapping up. Last night, the NBA Finals wrapped up. The night before, the NHL Finals wrapped up. I don't know which one you want to really dive into first, other than the fact that, of course, this is WMEB Studios that we're recording in the student radio station of the University of Maine up here in Orono. And two UMaine alums faced off in the Stanley Cup Finals, so I guess we could start
Almost
there.
a goalie battle. That would have been something.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, obviously Ben Bishop was the starting goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning for the whole series, and then Scott Darling actually started and won 3 games in the opening round for the Blackhawks, I believe it was. Very cool to see some, UMaine press get to that level. Obviously,
Absolutely.
we've had
Well,
our fair share of great hockey players.
Oh, absolutely. And
we still have them in the league.
Like when Paul Correa was huge, like they would obviously mention UMaine, but now I kind of the second coming of Paul Correa in Gustav Nyquist he's riling everyone up.
No,
about
he is.
UMaine.
He is, but I don't think he'll ever be that. I hope he proves me wrong. I don't think he's that good. But
I think he can be.
He is. He's a very talented player. I remember my freshman year. I think it was his last year here, so it was cool that I got to see him play a little bit. I actually had some interaction with him through athletics when I was once upon a time an athlete here, so that was pretty cool. But no, it was very cool to see some UMaine loving from Ben Bishop and Scott Darling. Obviously, there's some other big names out there. Jimmy Howard, Gustav Nyquist's teammate.
Yep.
A
lot of Maine hockey fans have switched to being Detroit fans especially after the lackluster season the Bruins have had in the last couple of years.
Oh my
but
God, don't get me
we're
going.
not going to get started on that. It was good to see the Blackhawks, of course.
Obviously, that was awesome.
victorious.
I will be the first to tell you I'm not a big hockey fan. I enjoy a good hockey game from time to time.
I'm incredibly enthused that you're actually talking hockey right
yeah,
now.
but I almost want to, hop on the Blackhawk bandwagon here because that was truly awesome to watch them play. They are such a talented team, very balanced. They score the puck. They can still defend. They have pretty good goalie play. The coach knows what he's doing. They have star talent. It was very cool to watch. They have one of the coolest goal songs in the NHL when they score the goal.
I can't remember which one theirs is. That stupid one. That is the theme song for the league.
Yeah, the Madhouse on what is it?
Dude,
Madhouse on Madison. That's what they're saying.
As awful as the Bruins have been, I still will never think there's a better goal song than Zombie Nation. I love Zombie Nation.
Oh yeah,
love it.
Well,
other than the Stein
they got to
song.
score first to get in.
Other than the Stein
there
song.
you go. That's
Stein song is the best.
That's
after
the
goal
best song ever, obviously.
Obviously.
But no, that was cool to watch. Obviously, congrats to the Blackhawks. 3 Stanley Cups in 6 years. Jonathan Taves now has, I think. He's been the captain of all 3, hasn't he?
He's just insane.
That's
he's
just
an insane
nuts.
player.
So that's very cool. Obviously, huge congrats to them.
Moving on to a
and to
game
their
that I
fans.
actually got to watch because I was at work during the
I was
NHL
bad.
one.
I fell asleep during. Well, it was pretty much over, but I actually fell asleep with 4 minutes to go.
In last night's game?
Night, yeah, I was tired.
Yeah, Golden State besting the Cavs in 6 games.
Pretty much outlasting. They were just
Yeah.
You kind of figured that as much as the Cavs looked good after Game 3 and they're up 2-1. And,
Yeah.
they had the mojo. They had Matthew Dellavedova all over Stephen Curry. You just kind of knew that the gas was going to run out of the tank. You knew that Golden State was a better, more balanced team. They were going to come back. They were going to win a couple games. Maybe not. I wasn't totally convinced they were going to win the whole series. But
Golden State? Oh, I
Right,
was. I had Golden State from the beginning.
well,
Especially with, first off, Kevin Love out. And then when Kyrie went out,
Kevin Love wasn't a huge thing. When Kyrie got out, that's when I was like, eh.
See, I disagree. I'm in the camp that Kevin Love is a valuable part of the Cavaliers.
He is, but I still think if Kyrie Irving is healthy in that series, they're playing on Thursday at least.
Well, it's funny because I hear sports pundits yelling about how soft, quote unquote soft Kevin Love is, and then I hear the next day they're like the Cavs don't have that power down low, that toughness without Kevin Love. And I'm like, okay, is he soft or is he tough? Make up your mind, ESPN. But nonetheless, I actually had Golden State from the beginning. I think they would have won Game 7 at home, but I feel like the Cavs would have won Game 6 at home if they were healthy.
Yep.
And everyone, I love dumping. I love dumping on LeBron as much as the next guy. Don't get me wrong. But don't. Well, he's the best player in the world. Why couldn't he carry his team? Look. Obviously, he thinks he's the best player in the world. So
he is.
He is. And he's gonna spout that. You can't. Basketball is not a one-player game. Like even Jordan didn't carry his entire team by himself.
Nope.
And you're like, oh, making excuses for LeBron. Yeah, Kevin Love out Kyrie Irving. Oh, excuses. Yeah, excuses. You see Paul Pierce win a title by himself?
Hell no.
No? You see LeBron has never won a title by himself.
Nope.
Jordan never won a title by
Nope.
himself. Bird never won a title by himself.
Yeah, they did that. They went down the line. They looked at the teams that win titles. Honestly, it's kind of funny. The one team of the past few years that you look at, the one star after that, there really wasn't anything else. Do you know who the team that I thought of?
Who?
The Dallas Mavericks.
That's true.
Dirk Nowitzki. After that, granted, you had Jason Kidd, you had Jason Terry.
Yeah.
But nobody was close to Nowitzki. And granted, I'm not saying Wade is close to LeBron, but Wade is still, when they were winning those titles in Miami,
Wade is closer to LeBron.
There you go.
Wade
So,
is closer to LeBron than other players were.
It's kind of funny that Dirk Nowitzki really, after that, it's like,
Well, it's the big man argument.
yeah, and then you had, the Heat when they won it the first time with Shaq and D Wade. Then you had the late, the Showtime, well, not the show, well, Kobe and Shaq and all them and Derek Fisher, blah blah. And the Celtics teams that they went to 2 finals with the new big 3 of KG, Pierce and Ray Allen.
My
and even
point
Rondo,
is, no one wins.
no
a
one
title
carries
by
it by themselves.
It doesn't matter. You can be the best player in the world and not win by yourself. That's almost impossible.
Which amazes me even more that the Chicago Bulls still have not won yet. I still think that they are a team that's going to win one of these years. I think that they're too good. They're too
something.
Derrick Rose, stay healthy, please.
Something noodle legs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I just really think that they're a team that is going to win one. They have a very balanced team. They play good defense. I think Jimmy Butler's a guy who's really come up and shown his worth the past couple of seasons. I think that they're a team on the rise. Granted, the Celtics are winning the finals next year when they sign Kevin Love, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Both of them?
Yeah,
sign
they're
both
sign
of them?
Both. But no,
dude, I'm so hyped for the Celtics to get good again
and
because I know it's close. I know it's coming.
They're coming.
And I'm excited.
And that's why I'm glad that the NBA season is officially over now. Now we can start looking forward to the draft. There's already rumors about the Celtics trading up into the draft for, I think it was not Karl Anthony Towns. There was another guy, I think, from Kentucky that they are very interested in. They wanted to trade up into the top 10 to get. LaMarcus Aldridge has made one trip to Boston already, is already planning another one, so that is big news that they might actually be pulling in a free agent. Obviously, don't sleep on Kevin Love. Don't sleep on him. Is he the key piece that's going to make them win everything? No, but would he help? You're damn right he will help.
I don't know. I have this inkling he's going to stay in Cleveland, but
he's going to stay in Cleveland. But I still think that he's going to test the waters and he is going to see.
I don't think he's going to test the waters this year. I don't think so. He's already.
We'll see.
I think
if he doesn't test the waters this year, he's going to be in Cleveland for a very long time because they're going to lock him up.
I agree. I just don't think he'll do it. I think after saying no, I expect to be opening night in a Cavs uniform, I want to try again.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't read too much into that. I think he was saying the right things at the right time.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll see. It all comes down to what he decides, and I don't make the decisions for him. That'll end episode 11. We got a little bit of some off Patriots topics, sports topics, which are nice. I like talking all sports. Well, of course, we'll probably add in more specklings of that once the new NHL and basketball season start up after football starts.
I was gonna say
we're probably not gonna be talking Red Sox at all.
We'll see.
Not.
I think maybe in a couple of weeks we might get a couple of Red Sox topics in there, but no, definitely.
The topic will just be titled "Burn It Down."
But
Burn it down.
No, but definitely Patriots fans, keep track of mini camps. Like I said, don't buy too much into the hype. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's all a process.
How many days until opening night?
I think it's 85.
We need to start counting down.
It was 87. I think it's 85 today. So, we're getting closer. We'll have training camp coming right up. That's right around the corner. I'm planning on going to training camp, so we'll have some very hot takes, first-hand hot takes from training camp. After I go to that, I'll have a report on that. But no, get ready. The next week is the appeal. That is going to be extremely interesting to see what comes of all that. Unfortunately, for those sick of the Deflategate convo, that will probably lead us in our next show because
I will begrudgingly be here.
I think we will wait until after at least day 1 or day 2 of the appeal for our next show. So look for us later in the week next week. I really want to try to get some more Brady suspension news before we have our next show. But
I will be begrudgingly joining you on that show. I hate Deflategate.
I'll drag you in.
I'll be here. I'm usually here. Can't do a show without a producer. Nonetheless, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Go Pats and hashtag free Tom.
New England.
This is hello. This is bait. Bait.
Bait.
Maximum over bait.